did actually intend to film this video outside because I'm currently in Dubai at the moment and the weather is so nice. The lighting is brilliant The lighting is brilliant outside as well because it's constant sunshine. I'll show you. So that's what it's like outside at the moment. It's really nice and sunny, really nice and bright. However, of course, in Dubai, we're in the middle of a desert, so it's boiling outside. And I did try and film out there at first, but I was literally sizzling and sweating. So instead, I've retreated inside where there's air conditioning and it's nice and cool. So yeah. So this video is all about travel apps that I found really helpful when I went traveling. So they're not just for backpackers, they're for pretty much anyone who's going to a different country and has a smartphone. And yeah, I found these really helpful, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're thinking about going traveling, then give me a thumbs up in the thumbs up section below. I'd really appreciate that. And also, if you have any questions as well, then please comment in the comments section. And yeah, let's get on with the video. Okay, so app number 1 is definitely Skyscanner. Skyscanner is really useful for booking your flights and hotel.
Okay, so firstly, you've got Skyscanner, which I've mentioned before, and this is basically what I use to book all of my flights. You can also use it to book hotels as well, but because I usually go backpacking, I don't book hotels, I book hostels, and I'll tell you what I use to book hostels in a moment. So yeah, I would really recommend Skyscanner. Usually it gives you the best prices as well, and it's really easy to use.
Okay, so app number 2 is Hostel World.
And this app is brilliant for if you're booking hostels. You can also book hotels as well through there. So it's great for backpackers and holiday makers as well. You can basically pick hostels and hotels in any location in the world. You can book them on there and you pay a little deposit, and then basically you pay the rest when you get to your destination, when you get to the hostel.
Okay, app number 3 is Uber. So Uber seems to be everywhere at the moment, and I would really recommend it for if you're thinking about getting a taxi. In some countries, especially in Southeast Asia or Asian countries, you have to be a bit careful with the taxi drivers and the public transport if you're not used to it, especially as a tourist. And Uber is just really safe. It calculates the cost, an estimate of the cost before you go on the journey, so you know roughly how much it's going to cost. So you don't have to worry about the taxi driver scamming you or paying a bit too much for the trip. And also, you know exactly where you're going beforehand. You can see on the map, you can choose your destination, and the taxi driver also has the map on their phone. Pretty much like Uber in the UK and in other countries as well. So same thing. Definitely reliable, and I've used it in other countries, and I would definitely recommend, instead of using public transport, especially if you don't want to rent your own transport, like rent a car or rent a scooter, then it's something that's really cheap and reliable as well. Okay, app number 4 is Google Photos. Google Photos is a really good app if you don't have a lot of storage on your phone. It's basically cloud storage for all your photos. So if you don't have a camera separate and you only have your phone traveling or on holiday, and if you're going to take pictures on your phone, then it's really good for storing all your photos on your phone camera. It's like cloud storage, all your photos will be in one place. I found that when I was traveling, I filled up my phone storage really fast because I was constantly taking photos on my phone. And obviously you don't want to delete those photos, but when you're traveling, you've got nowhere to upload them to. You haven't usually got a laptop with you. So having Google Photos, it automatically backs them up onto cloud storage, and then you can delete them from your phone, and then it's just extra space. And it's really handy to have. Another thing with Google Photos, if you take little videos on your camera, it puts all your little video clips together and then it synchronizes them to music as well. And it's really nice, some of the things it makes. And also you can edit photos, and it just saves having different apps for doing all those different things. All the different apps are kind of in one. And yeah, I would really recommend it. Okay, so the next app, of course, is Currency Converter. Pretty obvious what it does. It converts currency, and definitely if you're going to download an app for converting currency, get one that does it offline, so you can pretty much load the currencies that you're going to use onto it, and then it does it offline, so you don't need Wi-Fi to use it. Obviously, you don't want one which requires Wi-Fi, because when you're traveling, you won't always have it. Maybe you'll have it in your hostel or hotel, but definitely don't walk around with your data on, because that will cost you so much. And yeah, so definitely download one that doesn't require Wi-Fi. There are loads on the iOS store and Android store. Just have a look, especially for currencies like in Indonesia, it's about 17,000 Indonesian rupiah to £1. So it's so difficult to get your head around. And other crazy currencies that are like that. And until you get used to it, it's really good just to refer to the currency converter app, and it'll just ensure that you know how much money you're spending. Okay, so next up is Google Translate, or any app that can translate, basically. I like Google Translate because you can also get an offline version of that, which means you don't need Wi-Fi to use it. And as well, there's a feature where you can take a photo of street signs and it translates that picture for you, which I think is really cool. You don't have to type it in, you can just take a photo of something, or like a menu, for example, and it will translate what is on there. So that's so handy for, especially if you're in a country that doesn't have the Latin alphabet. So for example, Thailand, which is always my go-to example, they don't have the Latin alphabet. So for us to translate that, if we don't know the language, it's probably impossible, near impossible to read it as well. So pretty much using Google Translate, you can take a photo of the menu, take a photo of street signs, directions especially, because a lot of taxi drivers don't read English. So there's no point showing them your hostel or where you want to go if it's in English, even if it's the right address. If it's not in their language, then they're not going to understand. So taking a photo of that with Google Translate will basically change it so they can read it, and then they can get you to wherever you want to go. And yeah, I would say that's really handy to have. I've been in that situation before where I've got directions but they're in English and the taxi drivers don't speak English, so I can't get to my location, and you have to go around and ask people, oh, do you speak English? Can you help me? Can you read this? And it can be quite difficult, especially if you're not in a touristy area. So yeah, I would definitely recommend downloading Google Translate or any Translate app that can work offline. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe as well, and put some comments in the comment section below if you have any feedback. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.